Boom, we're live on Fantasy Football Hub to talk about FPL Gameweek 16, some 1 week punts, and Abdul, you have a big fat green arrow there. You're up into 138k, that's where you're sitting, which is nice. You had an absolute belter score this week.
Yeah, it was needed, John, as well, because I'd had, you've been tracking progress, me coming on here weekly, and I was getting reds, and I was getting small greens and then a big red. But this was the week I needed. I had a big week. I had 81 points. Salah captain. I went from like 390k to 134k. So my target was a few weeks ago. I set a target saying I want to be in the top 100k by the time we break off for the World Cup. So I'm about 86 points behind the top 100k now. So if I get to that point by next week, I'll be over the moon.
Yeah, you had an absolute belter week. I think the Salah captaincy was a great choice. What made you go there? I think I'm surprised considering you got the Alvarez move done. Looks like you got a sniff of early team news. To choose to captain Salah against Tottenham, I'm not going to say it's mad or anything. It's just a bit surprising, maybe given the City fixture.
Well, the thing was, yeah, you're right. I did get early team news. I got early team news a week before as well, but it wasn't enough time, so I did get locked out. But I did manage to spam the hell out of my fantasy football app and got the moves through. The reason why I went for Salah, I simply thought he was the best option because there was no Haaland. We got news, there was no Foden, so we just had to get rid of them. And then Alvarez, I didn't really trust much because we knew Haaland was on the bench. I thought, there's a chance, Alvarez might get maybe 60 to 65 minutes, which was the case. But I think it was more because they got a red card. But so maybe if they didn't get the red card, he's probably would have got about 70, I guess. So the fact was, I thought, Salah is on penalties. He's going to get 90 minutes regardless. So, he was the safe bet in my eyes. So I went for him.
Yeah, no, a cracking decision. And Salah, while he's not necessarily a differential, I had him this week and he helped my rank a bit because I think a lot of people did lose patience looking at that Spurs fixture and maybe got rid. But you captain him was a huge differential to an extent.
And a lot of guys took him out this week for KDB. Yeah. So I mean that was a really popular move this week.
So you nailed it. Cancelo's red card, a bit of a heartbreak.
Yeah.
Which we'll get on to a bit more. But Trippier with 12 points again. He was subbed off before they conceded, wasn't he?
Again, it's twice now he's done that,
which is incredible, and he just keeps chipping away. Absolute outstanding season. If I look back at his points hauls, I mean they must be just stupid by now. He must be the top scoring defender, is he?
Yes, he's the top scoring defender in the game.
He's doing incredible. And then, like myself, keeping Zaha worked out too.
Oh yeah, I mean, the Zaha was on the chopping block this week, and I was quite close. I was either going to, if we didn't get any team news, I was either going to do Zaha to Rashford or Mitrovic to Wilson. So I may well have got rid of him this week. I don't know, but I'm glad we got the early team news. It worked out this time.
I'm having a look there. So 81 points, 2 transfers made, no -4s. We'll get on to what you're going to do later this week, and we're going to look at punts. You obviously will have 1 transfer in the bank, so you've got a decision to make, which we'll get to. Just to quickly fly over my team, which wasn't quite as lovely, and I did look at this yesterday morning with Bakar. Thankfully, I had Trippier. Castagna was a nice wee 6 points. Zaha I held on to. Salah at 15 points. Haaland there as well. Captain Cancelo, the real kicker. I had 2 free transfers. I only used 1 early in the week to bring Wilson in, which didn't work out. Yeah, it wasn't great, but what I will say is it felt like a win because what I said yesterday was at one stage after that early kickoff where I'd Haaland, Foden and Cancelo with a -4, my rank had dropped with Cancelo captain to something like 1.6 million from 1.1 million to 1.6, and I'm back up at 1.145. So it feels like a win. Salah, Zaha, Trippier, Castagna getting me there. But look, 56 points, it is what it is. I have 2 free transfers for this week, which I'm going to get on to, but excited to kind of roll the dice. Big day planned for the weekend. I've said this to you on the stream before, meeting a few guys in Galway. When I say a few, there'll be a ton of FPL players. Big beer garden, Ampecan booked out. So it's going to be a full day of FPL, a full day of football. So I'm definitely willing to pick 1 or 2 1 week punts. And that's what we're here to talk about. Now, I don't know if is it even worth mentioning a goalkeeper, because no one's really going to take a goalkeeper for a 1 week punt. But what I'll say to you is, and this is probably as simple as who's the highest percent chance of a clean sheet. Really, if you look at it,
Yeah,
is there a,
I mean,
is there
yes,
someone?
you're right. It is quite a boring position, but a lot of people are in the position this week where they've got a great team and the weakest spot is their goalkeeper. I've been speaking to a few, but I mean, we'll mention the goalkeeper. I mean, I think the best. I mean, we won't kind of talk too much about it because obviously there's not much to talk about. But I do think Allison is the best. The one with the kind of high upside this week because as you know, Liverpool haven't been great defensively, but they have shored up a little bit. They've got Southampton at home this week, and I do think Liverpool are still conceding chances. So I do think they'll concede shots on target, which will get Alisson the save points, and just on the off chance, Alisson is probably one of the keepers with the best distribution in the league, and he's already got an assist this season, with that long ball to Salah. So he's always got that kind of in the back of his his armory as well, and he's possibly he's good at saving penalties. He's already saved one this season. So yeah, I mean, again, it's the goalkeepers are just a lottery in general. But I would say, if I was to take a punt on it, if I had a free hit, for example, I think Alisson would probably be my goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, he's. I don't even know if there's an argument. There probably is an argument there somewhere, but he's, in my opinion, the best keeper in the league, playing in a team.
I think so. Yeah, he's the best shot stopper for sure.
Against Southampton at home, at Anfield, which is reputable as a home ground. Like, I just think, if you were to pick a goalkeeper this week, it'd be him. Maybe people have 3 Liverpool slots covered. I highly doubt it at this stage. Maybe 6 weeks ago everyone did, but not now.
Exactly.
So just wanted to give that a wee shout if someone was on a wild card free hit or they had no other fires to fight, bit of cash in the bank, had the slot, and they want to get rid of Pope or someone. Obviously Pope up against Chelsea this week. And a lot of people have Pope and Trippier. If they have Pope, they probably have Trippier. Trippier is owned by 64% of the game now, and a hell of a lot more, I'd say, in terms of engaged managers. But goalkeeper out of the way. Go for it.
Yeah, the thing with that as well is that you're going to want to keep Trippier because the money you've got invested in him, whereas Pope is a lot more disposable. You can get rid of Pope easily because I don't think a lot of managers will be picking him on the wild card. Well, on their limited free transfers from Gameweek 17.
If you had to pick a defender, who would you pick? And
Defender,
feel free to give us a couple if there's a couple in your mind.
I mean, there's one big one this week which I'm really excited about, and it's Ivan Perisic. The reason for that, John, is that he actually started in the front two. Last game week, against Liverpool, he was actually playing the front two with Harry Kane. When Kulusevski came on, he shifted back to left wing, but I do think there's a chance he plays in a front two or a front three again this week, and they've got Leeds at home, Spurs. So, I mean, see if you look at Perisic's stats, like when his actual underlying stats when he starts, he is the most attacking defender in the game. Like his stats are honestly phenomenal, John. Better than Trent, better than Cancelo. But obviously, the problem with him is that he starts very few games, but so you have to kind of predict his stats. So he played 90 minutes last game. We're gonna have to keep an eye on the lineup today because Spurs play Forest today, but I doubt he's going to get many minutes. So I do think he's good for a start this weekend, and he's on set pieces as well. He's got a goal and assist there. So I think Perisic is the one player that I'm really going to try and anchor into my team this week.
You and Bakar both said that, and I look at my team and I'm like, I just don't really have a way there unless I get rid of Trippier or Cancelo. Which is obviously very, very hard to do.
Exactly, and that's the what I was saying before as well. Is because those players you're going to want going forward, so you don't want to kind of lose all that value just for a 1 week punt. So for me, I've got like 2 million in the bank, so it's an easy move for me. Like for Gehi or for Dunk, I can make that move. But yeah, I mean for those guys who will need to remove the likes of a Cancelo or a Trippier, I don't think I would do it. As tempting as it might, as it sounds, those guys are long-term picks.
I think that's it for 1 week. It's a different thing making a 1 week punt, as opposed to making a 1 week punt. And for the likes of Trippier, for me, and probably for a lot of the games, I don't think I got him particularly early. I can sell him now and get 5.6 million, but I have to pay 5.9, and you're going to want him back. So I'm essentially burning 0.3 million on top of the 1 week punt to go to Perisic. And it really does come into the question there, even with Cancelo. There's a couple of 0.2 I would probably lose. Not a hellish amount if it's 2-3 weeks you're taking a punt for or you're moving for.
Yeah.
For 1 week, it really makes me question. Just to shout out in the comments, Shane's there, Fayad, Colestrol, I'm going to go for. Cholstroll, FPL Sparta, nice to see you, always in the house. Mr. Lucian, Abdul Rahman Cabs, I'm going to say, hello. Dev's here, and I'm Chillings here. Thanks for being here. Get among the comments, drop a like on the video while you're here, and subscribe to the channel. Right, Abdul, so, yeah, that's actually going to stress me out now, because both of you have said Perisic, I feel like I need him, and I don't know how to shoehorn him in. And I'm really hesitant to take a -4 this week with just 1 week to go. But we're going to move on to midfield. Who is the standout pick?
Well, the pick for me, the kind of high upside punt for me is Said Benrahma, right? So
that's a nice different one.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going for not the obvious picks, but like a low owned, high differential. And so Benrahma started the last 3 games. He scored in his last fixture against Crystal Palace. And more importantly as well, he's on penalties now. So with so obviously we know Bowen's not on penalties anymore, and the next in line is Benrahma. And if you look at the last few games, he's been playing really well, which is why he's got the start. So I do think Leicester at home is a good fixture. I think I've got a feeling that's going to be a game which is going to be high scoring. So I just think they're both kind of good attacking teams. Leicester haven't been the best at the back this season. They have kind of short up in the last few games, but I do still think they're susceptible. And I just see that game being high scoring, and I really fancy Benrahma in that game.
I really like that shout. That's under 1% ownership,
Yeah.
5.6 million, so nice and budget. He has scored in his last 2 home games, and he's at home again against Leicester, as you're saying, and that leaves the door open in many respects if I wanted to go, and you probably wouldn't, to be fair, this week. But for a lot of people who maybe want to down, I was going to say Zaha or a Foden, and nice fixtures around, it's very hard. But let's say someone wanted to downgrade a midfielder there, it might allow for that upgrade of Wilson or Mitrovic or these other forwards people are thinking of getting out and gone up to the likes of Darwin, who I've already seen in the comments. And I think Bakar was all over Darwin, thinking he was his favourite pick of the week. But I really like the Benrahma shout, because finding that budget midfielder at the minute that's worth a punt for a week, which has high upside, can be tough. I really like that shout.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's like, for me, you mentioned Darwin. I think that might be a move for you as well, John, if you can, maybe downgrade somebody to Benrahma and get Darwin in. I mean, I kind of agree with that. I think Darwin, for me, if I was able to get Darwin this week, I would get him even ahead of Perisic, but I just can't. I've not got enough for the straight swap. But Darwin is a fantastic pick.
I'd have to give up Foden. Do you think that's mad?
Well, no, not at all, because there's no guarantees he starts this week. And I mean, I know you're playing with fire here, but I guess waiting for that team news again. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if many people will be doing that, but I mean, if you've got the nerve to hold off a team news again, and he's benched, then I mean, you can go for it. But I mean, just say hypothetically we don't get any team news, right? If you kept Foden again, I mean, that'll be 4 benchings in a row, and you just feel really, really stupid, just keeping him for that, that 4th fixture. So it's a tough one for Foden owners. But
Benrahma has the upside in that fixture.
I mean, look, if you could take out Foden for Benrahma and get Mitrovic and sell Mitrovic for Darwin, I think that 2 pairing, Benrahma and Darwin, are better than Foden and Mitrovic for Gameweek 16. So if you can get them 2 for free, that'd be a move I would do. Probably even regardless of early team news.
I'm so torn when we get to it. So I could go Darwin in for Mitrovic, Benrahma in for Foden, and I've still got 1.6 million in the bank, which leaves room for Perisic for a -4. I think.
No, don't. I wouldn't do the hit for the Perisic.
I can't make any promises here. Let me have a look at this. Perisic 5.5, Nico Williams out, Perisic in, -4. Team coming on the screen. Absolute rogue for a week. Abdul.
I mean, it can work out, but I mean, I'm just really wary of taking punts on especially like when we'll be wildcarded next week. So, I mean, again, I said if Perisic starts, it's going to be. I mean, he can possibly get a huge haul.
Perisic in, Benrahma in, Darwin in.
I
Get
love
rid of
those
the
moves.
shite.
Those three are probably my top three picks this week:
Oh,
Darwin, Perisic, and Ben Rama.
I'm gonna wait until like later in the week, but I don't know. I know Perisic is probably a mad move. I'll see. I don't know. I might even need to
Yeah.
use him. But anyway, moving on to the forwards. We've already mentioned Darwin. Is he the one? As you say, he is your top pick
Well,
from in
yeah.
the forward slot.
So Darwin is, I would say, the top pick, but I'm kind of going for picks which are, not very popular ones. And I think Darwin has got to a stage where he is a popular pick now, and a lot of people are going for him. So I'm going to actually go with Firmino, right? And I think he is a good option as well because he's going to start this game as well. And because Jota's out, Firmino's kind of been starting more in that, that number 10 role, whereas, Klopp's playing Darwin and Salah up front. So yeah, I do think Salah, Darwin is a better option, but Firmino has got that potential. We've seen already this season. He scored, he got 2 goals and 3 assists against Bournemouth at home in Gameweek 4, which was like a 22 pointer. He's got a brace against Brighton at home, so he's got that potential in him to get a big haul, and he's one of those players. He's a frustrating one because he's one of those players where he'll get like a huge haul and then he'll blank for like 4 or 5 game weeks, like, which we've already seen this season. And I just think this might be that fixture where he goes big again. Southampton at home, you can't really ask for much better. And the two games he's hauled in again in this season has been 2 home games against kind of not very good opposition.
I love the Firmino shout. You're 7.8 million as well, which is always very handy.
Yeah.
A lot of people going up, obviously, and clambering for a bit of cash, so it might help. I think if you can't afford it, I'd be going for Darwin, but if it makes a difference, I don't think Firmino's bad by any means. Shout out to a few more people in the comments. Guest House Games is here. Jan, FPL Swanson, who I see here all the time, and Owen Jones, who sounds incredibly Welsh, based off names. How do I get a fantasy football hug? My friend's 40th birthday Friday, wanted to surprise him. Reach out to Andrew Ferguson on Twitter. Go and pepper him. Say, John Nellis sent me. I need to sort you out. Anyway, guys, drop a like on the video for us if you're enjoying it. Abdul, I didn't ask you this. What are your plans for the World Cup? Have you any content planned? Will you be articles? What games will you be playing?
Yes. So I'll be playing the official FIFA one. And possibly the Sky one as well, because then they've got like a 10k prize pot. So yeah, I'll be playing the FIFA one mainly, and I'll be doing a few articles on Hub as well. Covering the best players for the group stages, and then also the best players for the knockout stages. So yeah, busy period planned ahead. So I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah, no, it should be good fun. I'm very excited for a couple of games I'll be playing. I think I wanted to ask you as well, just briefly before we move on to your sort of team reveal per se, or what your plans are right now. The server crashing, you got away with it this week. You didn't get away with it the week before. I don't. It's just what's your general thoughts on the whole thing? I mean, this is a really big game with over 10 million players. A lot of people who, like yourself, to an extent, and I don't think you do this full time, but like a lot of people make a living off this. A lot of people are putting a lot of effort into content. A lot of people doing this. A lot of people doing that. The server's crashing is really not a great look, is it?
Yeah, I mean, look, you had this even like I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but Andy Murray tweeted, saying that, FPL was joking. Neil Robertson, who's former world champion, snooker world champion, he was going hard on them, and I've seen quite a few verified accounts actually, like mentioning it. So I mean, if you look at how big FPL is, there's 10 million players now. I mean, surely, look, the deadline was 1:30. There's no reason whatsoever why you shouldn't be able to make moves, up until the right to the last second, because that's what it states on the website. They're a huge, they're a huge company, a huge website with 10 million users. You'd have to assume, that they've got the kind of server capacity to handle that. And if you can't handle a few thousand people going to the website at one time, then yeah, I think they definitely need to kind of pucker up on that. I guess on the flip side, people will say, that the team news we're getting is, some people will say it's not legal or it's cheating or whatever. But I don't see it as cheating. I think it's just getting an advantage because even like actual journalists and verified accounts sometimes very rarely, but on some occasions, tweet early team news, before the actual, the official teams are out. So it's not something that's kind of frowned upon, really, or kind of seen in bad taste. So yeah, I think overall, I mean, I feel sorry for the people who got burnt this week, John. I know you're one of them, because I got burnt myself the week before, and I was quite gutted at the time. I did get away with it in the end, but at the time you feel quite down, and you're just thinking, what's the point? But yeah, I just think that's 2 weeks now, and if it happens again this week, you've got to kind of question whether they actually really care or not.
Yeah, it's one of those. I don't think I got burnt too heavily. I kept the transfer in the bank that I probably wouldn't have, and whatever. I don't think I can't say I had a concrete move in my head. I definitely would have made or wouldn't. So I got away all right. But thankfully I made one of my moves earlier in the week. I think just it's one of those where, in terms of the deadline, and I know there's a lot of traffic coming, whatever about early team news being cheating or against the spirit of the game, get out of here with that rubbish. I'm trying not to curse, because at the end of the day, the deadline's the deadline, and if people choose to wait for news and the news comes out, so be it. That's the game. Should the deadline be on first kickoff? Should the deadline be a day before? Should the deadline be whenever? I don't know when it should be, but it shouldn't be where it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a lot of ways it can
be
solved.
They moved it back half an hour to stop the team leaks, right? Because we were getting them, officially from the portal. But yeah, it's obviously not stopped it. So I don't know. Who knows what they'll do next season? They might change it to 3 hours, or if we're lucky, get it to first kickoff.
They should change it one way or the other, because ultimately it's a free to play game. They want people to have fun. They want people to have fun. People aren't having more fun because of where it is right now. But then if you push it to first kickoff, is it just going to crash before kickoff? It's one of those, I think, where it's obviously their servers are the problem.
They've definitely got the cap. Obviously, they just need to invest the money into the servers if they want the first kickoff, because the Champions League game, I don't know if you play that, John, but that has the first kickoff deadline, and it's never crashed on me. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely done, but whether they'll do it, I don't think so.
I'm going to just check something out here, and then we'll have a look at your team reveal per se, or what you're thinking for next week. I'll try and get this lined up. Basically, you've given us your best picks. I've imported your team to the My Team tool on Fantasy Football Hub. What are you thinking for your moves?
Yeah, so as I said, I'm really, really liking the look of Perisic. So what I'll do, I think Alvarez will be benched this week, right? So I think Haaland came off the bench, scored, should start this week, which means that Alvarez will be on the bench. So he'll be on. Alvarez will be on my bench, and then I'll move hopefully Dunk to Perisic, and then that'll give me then I'll play a 4-4-2, captain Haaland. My other possible move is Andreas to Trossard, which I really like as well. And then obviously that involves benching Alvarez as well, and playing a 3-5-2. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll wait until early team news. I think I will. I think I'm going to risk it again. I'm going for punishment, but I think I'm going to risk it again, just in case Alvarez starts, because there is a chance that he starts alongside Haaland as well. We don't know. So if he does end up starting, then obviously I'm going to have to start him, because it's a great fixture, Brentford at home. But just right now, I'm assuming Alvarez isn't going to start, and then those are the two moves I'm thinking. On the top of my list, as I said earlier as well, is Perisic, so which I think Leeds at home, great fixture. And
last question, I suppose I'll ask you, captain. Do we just stick with Haaland? I don't think it was Salah fair this week.
No, I'm going to stick with Haaland unless we get news that he's benched for some reason or another. Don't think we will, but yeah, if it's not Haaland, it's Salah. But I just think, look, he came on. He had a 26-minute cameo, John. He could have easily had a brace, and he scored the penalty, and then his goal was offside by like a millimetre. So yeah, he's my captain for sure.
I've got my team plugged in now to the tool. So I've just took Mitrovic out. If I bring in Nunez, I'm down 1.1 million, which leaves the potential move of Foden, remove you, and I like the Benrahma shout. Benrahma in, which leaves me 1.6 million in the bank. Which, if I switch, we think Wilson plays. Wilson's playing, isn't he?
I think he'll play. Yeah, I mean,
He's playing.
He said after the game it was just his cold, so he's got another week
Yeah.
to recover.
We could bring in. Oh god, okay, we're starting to look sexy, but like, I then have 1.6 million where I could go. We Nico Williams up to Perisic or something. I'll have to wait and see on that because that is like the epitome of punting. Like that's irresponsible. Actually, I don't even know who I benched then. That's the problem. It's like it doesn't even make sense. It's highly unlikely to happen. My captain will not be Cancelo. My captain will be Haaland. But yeah, excited for this week. Big
Yeah.
week. Get it done. On to the World Cup. And then I suppose we'll rendezvous for FPL content around
Yeah.
Christmas at some stage.
Yeah, I think the 26th of December we come back with
Yeah,
Gameweek 17, which is, it's like 44 days, I think.
it's a
Which
while,
is,
yeah.
it's a long time. But yeah, I think this week, it's a week to have fun. I mean, it's the last week before, we go off for a month. And, there's a lot of good fixtures there, I think, this week, to take a punt on.
Well, look, thanks for being here, guys. Thank you for being here as well. Please drop a like on your way out, subscribe. And if you want to give Fantasy Football Hub a go over and play with that My Team tool to see what punts you want to make for the last week, use the link in the description. You can sign up for free. And if you want to decide to sign up to a paid membership, you get 30% off. There'll be some great stuff going on over there for the World Cup too. See you later.